And I think there is definitely this idea of physical therapy is just this box, right? Of like somebody is injured or in pain, and then you take them till they stop being in pain, and then you're like, all right, you're good to go back.
I don't know if I can cuss in this podcast. It's just like a give a energy, give a factor of like everybody wants like status and money and like stability and all these different things. We all maximize our potentials when we take something out of somebody else, right? We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, having the humility to say what I'm not good at and like bouncing that off to the next person and then like just building each other up.
By the way, what does Lakas mean again? Can you remind me?
Lakas means strength in Filipino, in Tagalog, which is
strength.
I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
So it's your first Filipino word that maybe you know.
Lakas.
Lakas. Be the energy is like be a lending ear to them and just do the best damn job you can for the person in front of you. And if you don't know the answer, then find someone who will, right? Get that referral, build that connection, and just do right by them.
The treatment that you got or didn't get.
Yeah.
And then kind of what the typical approach is. Like, what do you guys do that you see as different and valuable?
Yeah. I would say like...
To be the energy encapsulates the belief that everyone has the potential to be a source of strength, motivation, and change for themselves and for those around them, to leave a lasting impact on the world, one community initiative, one positive interaction, one human connection at a time. To be the energy that fuels a healthier, happier, more connected world. Because after all, you don't change the world by changing the world. You change the world by inspiring the people in it. These are the stories of the people who are changing the world. Welcome to the Be the Energy podcast.
Well, Kim.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us who the heck you are and what the heck you do?
Yeah. So thanks for having me. Always been a big fan of Power Pack, what you guys do. And yeah, so I'm Kim. I'm the owner of Lakas Physical Therapy and Performance. So I started the clinic back in 2022. I've been a PT now for about 5 going into my 6th year. And really and we can dive into my backstory and whatnot, but stems kind of from my own like injury, like history, if you will, and how I navigated through my own injuries. And then like what I saw coming out of, graduate school as a new PT, that I just felt like there were still some holes that were missed. And yeah, just trying to create an environment where I thought that, it started off with me, like how I can give the best care to clients the best way I know how, but it's really expanded, obviously, past me, right? Like how can I build a team that can give the best care that they can give? So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at in a nutshell. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
where are you from, by the way? I don't actually think I even know that.
I know. Yeah. So I always kind of answer this 2 prongs, if you will. I grew up in Sacramento, like Elk Grove specifically,
Okay.
but I was born in the Philippines. So I moved here when I was like 8 years old. So 2nd grade.
Okay.
Knew English, but it was definitely my second language. So like for me, it was basketball was like my connection to like community,
Yeah.
new friends. Like,
Basketball is pretty big in the Philippines, isn't it?
oh, huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. Like you go to the Philippines and like people are wearing like NBA jerseys left and right, or like everyone's a Lakers fan. Like, like it's a big deal. So yeah, I would say, like to answer your question, like I would say I was born in the Philippines, but really been in Sacramento since I was like 8 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a kid from the Philippines come out to train with Mo, actually, for a little while. I'm trying to remember his name, and I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah.
But he was going to basically be playing in the league that's out there in the Philippines.
Like PBA.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And so he came out here. One of the coaches for the Sacramento Kings
Yeah.
knew him and brought him out to do some training with him, and then brought him in to do some strength and conditioning with Mo
Awesome.
at Power Pack while he was out here.
Yeah.
So if you ever see this, shout out. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're killing it in
That's awesome.
the Philippines. But yeah, he was just telling me about how basketball is like pretty big out there.
It's like basketball and boxing. right? Like Manny Pacquiao, he like, oh, just had a fight over the weekend, right? Like he came back from his retirement. It's like basketball and boxing, like two big ones. And so I kind of just fell through, never boxed in my life, but I had cousins who played basketball. My dad played basketball, nothing crazy like professionally or anything, but just play growing up. And I just like took a liking to it like so early. Like I just like latched on.
Yeah.
Like I think I was like, I don't know, like even younger, maybe 4 or 5. And like, dude, like we'd have a mango tree at my like aunt's house, and there'd be like cardboard, not cardboard, but like, you know, a wooden backboard and like some wires that you finagle into a basketball hoop. Like, oh, you might bird.
I love that.
That was my first basketball hoop.
That's amazing.
I don't even know how I brought that, but yeah. And so moving here, I just got exposed to like organized sports and like, NJV, which is National Junior Basketball, like an old league back in the day, like just played through the ranks and like, you know, and then AAU. But yeah, I was a big basketball
Big basketball
fan.
Big baller.
Big baller.
Let's
Try.
go.
5'2", you have your restrictions, but
you probably also have your newfound strengths potentially that you have to work on.
Yeah,
that you get good at.
for sure. I was a point guard, so passing, like kind of, you know, it's never a big strong defender, to be honest with you. But I at least like I like to run this show on offense. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. So because of that, like
Yeah.
was it always like kind of your path to go fitness, physical therapy, like that kind of
Yeah.
life? Is that always in a picture?
So it kind of not by design, but it just kind of like happened to me. So some background, I would say I was college bound, like at 14, 15, like going into the AAU circuits, like traveling kind of like, you know, East, West Coast, and go to a lot of
Certainly like sounded good. Like you weren't too bad.
I would say I was competitive within my group or within my, you know, right,
But
curious. Like, so I was 15 when I tore my first ACL. So I was a freshman in high school. It was during my, not AAU circuit, but during high school basketball. I had just like got called up to make varsity as a freshman because I was like literally like, I think I was the first in my school to make it.
like I said, you're all right.
All right, I was okay. And within like maybe I played like 7 or 8 games, had a practice and jumped up to block somebody, which I don't recommend if you're 5'2". You have no business being up in the air. Yeah, and I just landed and like twisted my knee and like I don't know if I heard a pop, but I definitely felt my knee swell up like the night. Didn't know what an ACL was, like had no experience with like healthcare at all. You know, my parents are immigrants. They were just navigating it kind of with me, right? And long story short, like I got misdiagnosed. They said it was a like a knee sprain, which I hear a lot from patients still now. Went to urgent care, got misdiagnosed. They said, you know, ice it, rest, compress kind of deal. Try to play again the following week. Like it was like the next Friday.
Mhm.
Had a big like home game and I tried to play on it. Did a warm up, like literally just go through like layup lines. I remember doing a jump stop and I felt this like knee buckle underneath me, like a feeling that I think people who have had ACL surgery like do not wish upon anyone. It's just like the weirdest feeling. And knew then that like there was something wrong. Like I was like, okay, this is not just a knee sprain.
Yeah.
Had surgery, like I don't know what was the timeline, maybe at least a few months.
Okay.
And did not have physical therapy.
Sweet.
So I just had surgery, had a surgeon who said, you're a really like active 15-year-old kid. I think you can do this on your own. And like handed me a sheet, like at least
A sheet of what?
a sheet of exercises.
Okay.
Kid you not, like kept it in my like literally in my drawer and just pull it out, like, and it would say week 1 do this, week 4 do this, week 6, until around 4-month mark where like I'm sure I saw him in between, but like he had a 4-month protocol for me to like get back to.
And what is the exercises like?
Dude, it would
Sit down a couple times.
things that you see now, like quad sets and like
Okay.
TKEs and heel slides, like really basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then get to a point where you should be cycling at this time frame. So I'm just like literally a kid at 15, like following this paperwork that I was, my parents and I were given.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't know at the time, like consciously, but I was like, this feels weird and wrong. And so fast forward 4 months, I did my leg press, did my Stairmasters, did whatever else was listed on that sheet. And like, I don't know how I like probably limped through my sophomore year, played another year of high school basketball, was like bleeding through my team. Like I had a good like coming out year after that, tore my second ACL my junior year.
The same ACL?
The other one.
The other one. Oh,
yeah.
Oh boy.
So that was like my like origin story. It's like how like why physical therapy matters to me so much, and like why we're so like hell bent on like, dude, we still see it all the time. Like people who have ACL surgeries have found us when they've tried other places, or they still have pain like years on out. Like it's just so prevalent that like I've kind of lived it, and it's just like, yeah, it's definitely something that like still like puts fire in me like every day. It's just like the best provider, give them the most value that they can get in like an hour spent with you, as time. So yeah.
So you got an exercise sheet, right? So it's not like you're not doing anything. Like you're doing exercises and things like that. But what do you think was missing from that?
Guidance. Like I was the kid that would wake up at like 5 a.m. to go shoot baskets before like 7 o'clock class. Like I had an AAU coach who was like a second father figure to me, and like pick me up, we'd go to the gym, we'd like put shots up. So it's like I was not like afraid of hard work. I was not afraid to like put in the sweat equity to like get through stuff like that. I mean, I was 15, you're like depressed, right? You're like, this is like my life. This is like how I with friends, and like this is like, dude, it's everything. 15, you're just like, oh man, and then I got rocked, and then you're just like sitting on the sidelines for months, right? So it just shaped me so much at like such a formidable like time of my life that and then the same thing happened again. Like literally like 15 I got hurt, 16 I came back, 17 I did the same thing over again. Same surgeon, same protocol, same timelines, 4 months. And it wasn't until I was like a freshman in college till I lifted like real weights. So I had a bar in my hands. So I had like free weights in my hands.
Yeah.
So it's just like a shame, in my opinion, that like that happened. But like I feel like it happened, maybe not in that extreme sense. Like we've worked with surgeons, and like, I've seen like patients like that I was their age when they got hurt, and they have way more like just a more of a training age than I ever did. I was at 0 at 19, and then some of these athletes are getting more exposed to it, which I love to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you play basketball? Did you play basketball in college?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So I crawled my way to college, meaning like, so I did the JC route. Sure. I finished off my senior year, like probably wasn't the best, the player I was. Sure. Like probably like just, I wouldn't say a shell of myself, but I just changed how I played. Became more of like, not of a driver, but like an outside shooter.
More conservative.
Was a little bit more conservative. Yeah. Like I was like more mentally thinking about it at that time.
Totally.
Still never saw a physical therapist like one time. So I just kind of like, played through it, if you will. And then still got some like attention from like JCs in the area. So I went to Delta College, played 2 years there. And I thought that I was done. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college for my grades. Like my dream school was like UC San Diego. I was like, I want to go to university. I did. I got in with my grades. And then so you kind of move into Canvas like around like September, October timeframe. At around like 4 weeks into moving, or even 2 weeks into moving, I walked into the gym and they were having like open practice, if you will. I'm sorry. I was playing horse with a friend. They came after us.
Okay.
And then the coach saw me shoot around and was like, do you go to school here? And so she asked me to walk on. So I got like another 2 years after that.
Sick.
So I played 4 years in college, but it was not by design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the way you maybe expected it to go, but
Not the way I expected, but like that was probably one of my prouder moments of just like, that was like the dream at the time. 20, 21, you're like, I just want to play in college. Yeah, I was able to still do that in some capacity.
that's pretty cool that even then, like even at that point, like you've already sort of overcome some of these hurdles and still gotten to that goal, like still gotten what you wanted to get to, despite like what happened. And despite not maybe coming back from it in the way that you maybe would recommend now, you were still able to like make it happen. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like, I think, like so many kids, especially now, burn out from the sport so easily, with specialization. They never get that confidence back to move past their like injury.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. It was just like true grit, if you will. Just like maybe like ignorance is bliss. Like it just
Built different. And come on.
But I was just hell bent in playing basketball.
Hell yeah.
So I think that same drive still drives me in a different way today. Obviously, like 33, I don't play basketball anymore. I still coach, but
Sweet.
a few years ago. But like, I think I've just channeled that into what we're doing now.
Cool. So did you go to PT school like right out of undergrad?
Oh man, we're really getting to my I would say my shortcomings because we're hitting it.
I was just digging into this. Good.
No, I did not. So yeah, we're gonna once I graduate from UCSD, I was a human development major, so they never had kinesiology. It wasn't part of UCSD's majors, but I knew I wanted to become a physical therapist. I think that started from like when you're that age, you're starting to think at like what professions are there. My dad at the time was working at Dignity Health, so I kind of just shadowed and the PT program there,
Cool.
the PTs out there, and like I wasn't really a big fan of like working in a hospital system, but it at least gave me some exposure of like what PT could be, and I was like, okay, this seems cool. And then when I was in San Diego, I started to like shadow more kind of like what I thought PT would be, which is like more in the orthopedic environment or like sports setting. So that's where I got more exposure in like ortho and sports. But back to your question, which is, what was it? When did
you go to PT right out of?
Yeah, I did not. So I waited at least. So I applied. I had a gap year. Applied after that gap year and got like denied from like 7 or 8 schools.
Okay.
So which is a common like thing, I would say.
Really competitive.
Super competitive.
Thing.
Very competitive. I mean, med school and PT is probably up there too. It's just so impacted, right?
Yeah.
Applied and I got like waitlisted, but they never really called me back. So had to wait a full calendar year. Had to retake maybe a few classes here and there. And I got in when I was like 25. Yeah.
Okay.
A few years after undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
So definitely was another like, notch on my like, okay, shit. Like I gotta find a way to like get to that next score.
It makes it real.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't just not just handed to you, It's like you got to find a way to make it happen.
Oh man, you've got to, even now, like, we have interns come in here. I have students who ask me, like, it's still probably more competitive now than before. It's just a matter of like, what do you want, And even as I was wanting to become a physical therapist, like, I think, to be honest with you, if you asked me like what I wanted to do, I just knew I wanted to treat the population we see now, whether that was to be an athletic trainer, whether it was physical therapy, whether it was like a different profession.
Yeah.
I just like had a vision of like treating kind of the kid of who I was, like the kid, the person I think I needed kind of deal, So I had more of a grasp on that concept of like treating that person than like actually like I'm seeking out physical therapy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it sounds like, you knew that you had this whole thing happen to you when you were a kid and you wish that there was somebody there to guide you through all that while you were going through it. And then it sounds like physical therapy was just a means to that end, rather than like, oh, physical therapy is like this. I feel like I'm called to like that. It's like, no, I want to be that person who can guide
Yeah.
past me
Yes.
through that, what I went through.
Yeah.
And physical therapy was just like a way to do that.
Totally. It just happened to be that was like the road that I took.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I see it like, especially now as, owning a performance PT clinic, working with, people like you in the community, and like just being around like trainers and chiros that are very like-minded in that sense. There's so many of us that are like that.
Yeah.
That sometimes we get stuck in our little silos, of right, I do, this is my lane, this is this lane. And I think there's this just this collaborative thing that we're all helping the same human beings, right? Like we're all, like my clients probably going to your gym and they're probably seeing this person and they're probably have to get referred to this person. Like, but that same individual is kind of at the center of things, is like how I see things, and happen to be on the rehab lens of it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think you're coming at it from a very pragmatic perspective, that it's not about you, it's about them.
Yeah.
And you're basically like a servant to like what their needs are. And I think that's a really cool, I guess, perspective to have. But it sounds like it comes from like, what it's like to be on the other end of it.
Totally. Like, and I would say, I'm sure other PTs have had like a similar kind of like injury to provider story.
Sure.
But I think just, I don't know if I can cuss in this podcast. It's just like a give a fuck energy, give a fuck factor of like, you're going to go above and beyond if you really like it's rooted into something. Like we all want, everybody wants like status and money and like stability and all these different things. But like, I think people are driven by like their internal like values, right? Absolutely. And like, that's just a value that's stuck with me. It's like, give a damn. Like, like do the right thing all the time for the person in front of you, whether or not like you're the right person for them. Yeah. Like do refer out, or like, build a connection, build a community. And I think that's like huge. What I guess, to go back to what Lakas and like what we're trying to stand for is that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you do now in your clinic and the way you treat patients and clients and whatever that you think is different than maybe obviously the treatment that you got or didn't get? Yeah. And then kind of what the typical approach is? Like, what do you guys do that you see as different and valuable?
Yeah. I would say like, there's great clinicians. Let me start by saying I think there's great clinicians in any like breadth of the industry, right? Whether you're doing insurance-based practice, whether you're out of network like we are, I think there's great clinicians all around. I think the biggest difference though is our model, we've tried to set up a model where you're one-on-one with a client for an hour, right? We can build on that hour and to dive into things that maybe I would say with healthcare, the time with your provider is like the hardest thing to get. Whether it's like, you're crunched on time for a follow-up, or, they're sending you to working with an aide, the second part of which is no offense to aides, I was an aide, right? But like there's a skilled need for physical therapy. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we've allotted time in our schedules to really dive deep into these like questions and and be very specific in how we prescribe exercise, how we program for them, diving into like, sleep, nutrition, and like going through like a pretty in-depth assessment of like how they're performing their exercises. Because, as as a trainer, you're in front of a group of like 6 to 8 people sometimes, and it's hard to
sometimes more,
and like it's hard to dive into every single one. So I think at least from a physical therapy standpoint, it's just more that like, okay, let's hone into like your injury history and other things. So that's the biggest thing I would say is like time spent. our standard of excellence. We set a pretty high bar for myself and my colleagues. And then also like utilizing the most evidence-based kind of treatment approach. We rely heavily on technology to drive like the data, to drive like decision making. We go to continuing education courses. We seek out kind of like those like other people are doing the work, because it's easy to just kind of set in your ways.
Yeah.
Especially at like years 5+, 10+, like you've gotten good outcomes. Like, people have come in to see you, but
Yeah.
I just have this thing of like, we can always slightly grow 1%, more like in knowledge and information, like for the next person whom we might not have all the answers to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because you care, right? Back to that because you legitimately care about
Yeah.
the people in front of you and their outcomes, it's like you're going to, even if you don't know now what to do, like you're going to find out because you care about them getting a good outcome. Like, you genuinely care. And I think that's enormous.
Yeah. I would say like, it's like most of the time here, everyone's like, people are getting the outcomes that they seek out. Are there some that do not? Yes, because life is messy and humans are messy, and there's other factors outside of N=1 of rehab,
Totally.
But like, I'm always going to try to find the right like information to give to someone. And that's kind of what I want to hang my hat on, is like, if there needs to be a referral out, who is it to? Sometimes we're not the best fit for people, and that's totally okay. But at the end of the day, I think we've captured like people in our community that like, at least over the last 3 years, that like really understand like, man, we're trying to set you guys up for success. And it's sometimes not just out of pain, because when you think of physical therapy, you think of like, let me get out of pain.
Right.
That is just like a drop in the bucket of like what we're doing. Pain is the easy part. It's like the light in your car, check engine light that turns on, but can you drive your car fast, right? And that's what we want. Like, you should be able to kind of navigate life in your vehicle, which is your body, in the best way you can. Whether it is going to a power pack and being independent and having no issues, whether it is like training for a marathon, and because you were just, maybe stuck at like a half marathon and you didn't know how to push that next level. That's like, those are the like, what we're trying to solve for people. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there is definitely this idea of physical therapy is just this box, right? Of like, somebody is injured or in pain, and then you take them till they stop being in pain. And then you're like, all right, you're good to go back to do whatever you want now, right?
Yeah.
And go tear your other ACL. Like,
exactly. Like, I would say pain was probably the last of my questions, It was like, how do I do a jump stop again without like feeling my knee buckling?
Right.
How do I change direction again without like thinking about it? How do I drive to the basket without that fear setting in that like my knee's going to stay stuck again, right? Like, there's such a mental side to just rehab, and that gets sometimes left unsaid. And I think back to your question, like, what makes us different is that people find us when they're like, this is their second, third, fourth try at physical therapy. And we almost have to unravel what they think physical therapy is. Like, they're like, dude, I've gone to, I'm not going to name names, X, Y, and Z clinic or big box hospital, and this is what I know to physical therapy to be. It never worked for me. And then we're like having a bigger conversation as to like, what is it that you guys are doing? How is it any different?
It's that I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Conversation is like, there's no way you've tried everything. Trust me.
Yeah. And I think of trainers and like, just, in a gym environment, you guys are healthcare providers. Like, in the sense of like, back to you said this like gap from where you are to where you want to be.
Yeah.
In a traditional model, like a medical system model, you guys are filling that gap.
Right.
I mean, how many of your clients have probably been like, I've been discharged from my provider or physical therapy or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're still like modifying a workout in some capacity, right? And you're still kind of like solving that puzzle in your head, I'm sure.
Totally.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a continuum to it. Like, it's not just like I cross that I dot my T's, like I did rehab. That person's still going to be on the community doing running, cycling, strength training, all that stuff.
Yeah. It's not about checking a box and being like, oh, I did my rehab, right? It's like, I did my rehab is very different than like, I am rehabilitated.
Yes.
And like, I have regained an ability.
Yeah.
That's what rehabilitation is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting an ability again.
Yeah.
And so it's more about, can you go do what you want to do?
Exactly.
And can you accomplish what you want to accomplish, rather than like you check these boxes of like, I stood on one leg for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I can, move my knee without it hurting.
Yeah, totally. And like, I'd say the people that we've worked with, they're going to push themselves to the next thing.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I did a race. Great. I want to push myself to a longer race. Or, we get people to return to sport, but then, this with like sports specialization with kids, there's really no off season, right? Like there's another tournament, and like working through that. Right. And like, sometimes rest is the answer, you know what I mean? But I would say like they're always going to like find that next level up. But it's I always think to myself, when is rehab/training ever done?
Right. Exactly.
It's really like you're just pushing your next capacity as a person. And I find that like those are the people that like have good success with us, because they understand that it's not like, hey, I just checked off, like
Totally.
therapy and I'm out of pain. They understand that pain is the start, not the end. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess with us, like, as far as like, the bigger vision of it, we have 3 providers, and the goal is to eventually grow. Like, I think the more impact into the community, and the better. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you see that going? Like what I guess.
Yeah.
What kind of growth are you looking for? Are you looking to just like hire on more therapists, maybe expand to a bigger location, a second location, or are you thinking about other community-based things? Like, where's your mind go with that?
Yeah, so we're into year 3, right? So even just having our own space, I mean, give you some background, I started at like 2 gyms, when I was doing this solo, like jumped around 2 gyms in Midtown and moved here in January. So I think this is a first huge, like big step that I'm not trying to just like.
And I'm really not trying to take that with you either. This is a big deal. Like, this space that we're in, by the way, beautiful. You guys can all see how beautiful this is.
Yeah.
This is still a new thing for you guys. Like, this is a big move.
Totally. Yeah. But as far as like, growth goes, like I think getting our team, so myself, Dr. Ankita, and Dr. Joe, in a space where we're seeing the people that we can treat best, right? Like we have our own like we're like a Swiss Army knife of like providers. Like Ankita loves working with barbell athletes. Joe loves working with like golfers and rotational athletes, overhead athletes. And I'm definitely geek out about ACL rehab and like working with runners and stuff. So it's like maximizing the space that we're in, or again, East Sacramento, about 1,600 square feet. But for our next school, I've always envisioned myself in a bigger space, with a few more Swiss Army knife providers to be part of our team. Yeah. So I like to potentially, hopefully double this space. But I'm not opposed to just, not physical therapy. Like I would love like, offering like some sort of like kind of that bridging that gap from that kind of rehab to training, that maybe they have like a small ratio, I'd say like 3 to 4, 4 to 6 people in a group that we can dive deeper into, like as far as like injury history and stuff like that, like total knees people and back pain, and like kind of doing it in a setting that like we can still kind of tease apart, that's more trainer led. Yeah.
And still do what you guys do best, which is that sort of personalized approach and taking the time to spend and give people really what they really need.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess another thing that I would say that makes you guys I don't know, unique, but like something you guys do a very good job at is, for those of you who maybe can't see on the video part of the podcast, we're sitting right now in what basically looks like a gym, like a performance gym, right? I'm literally sitting in a squat rack right now. There's heavy dumbbells and kettlebells and stuff like that going around. It's like, talk to me about how you chose to go that route.
Yeah. So again, I don't see how I self-rehab myself, right? And I was never right. Like I never picked up a weight until I was 19 years old. I probably didn't gain the strength I needed till I was in a junior college gym room environment and really learned how to strength train, right? And I saw the same in rehab, right? Like I've worked at as a student PT intern when I was doing my rotations at a clinic where this wasn't in Sacramento, but God, I kid you not, I felt like a waitress bopping from table to table because it's like I only had 15, 20 minutes with a patient and I had to do soft tissue, manual work, that sort of stuff, assess how their pain was, maybe do some measurements. And then I'd hand them off to an untrained, undergrad kid. And the heaviest weight we had was like 20 pounds, in the clinic. And I'm supposed to get them back to just day-to-day activities. And that's just not the case. So I also worked at a sports clinic in Sacramento that exposed me to that. It was a great first job for me. And like I just knew that we needed to build a space like that, where it was like, okay, we need adequate equipment to properly load people. So I strength training is like a huge bucket of ours. Like,
why do you think it's so important? What do you think? What about it do you think we'll get from it?
Yeah. So back to our conversation of like pain is not the end all be all. Let's take running, for example. People don't realize, people probably have said to you in the past, like, I want to start running to get in shape, right? Or in some capacity. The amount of load in your muscles to actually run efficiently is so high. Like how much your muscles have to actually adapt to the demands of running. That's like 7 to 8 times your body weight and your like gastroc and your soleus and your Achilles and your, right? Like up the chain. You can't do that with a 20-pound weight. Like you need a barbell on your back and being able to like do double leg calf raises, single leg calf raises, maybe a heavier weight in your hand, like a free weight. You know what I mean? Like you have to have the capacity to tolerate those demands. And, if our niche is like ACL rehab, working with runners, like people who have gone to like CrossFit or something, right? Like they have like high performance goals that like we're trying to get them as close to those goals as possible. We cannot do that without strength training. So, we program probably very similar. I've gone to Brandon's class. I've like done gym pop-ups all over the area, tested out different gyms and like, dude, I would say I can see like where there's again there's nuance to what we do. It doesn't look that different. Like a step down is a step down, a squat is a squat, deadlift is a deadlift. But we're just maybe scaling it back for the person in front of us.
That's the key word is scale, right? People often see things like physical therapy and training as two different separate things.
Yes.
But it's like they're the same thing. They're just scaled to a different starting point, different level.
Yeah, I forgot where I saw it at first, but like it's probably like on Instagram or something. There was like a huge like an infographic, if you will, of like rehab and training in the same line.
Yeah.
And rehab's this way, training's this way, but it's a line, like a linear line, and where it's a spectrum, and we fall into that spectrum. I never take my PT brain off. Like obviously my all the schooling for that is still stuck here, whether I'm just strength training someone or not. Like I'm just thinking about maybe old injuries or progressions and regressions, but it's all in the same continuum, right? And then, 1,600 square feet, all our people, they don't stay here to strength train on their own. They go out to other gyms like Power Pack or like, or a commercial gym and stuff, whatever. But it's like, the job is to properly equip them to handle those said demands without hurting themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. It's, you're not bringing them in here, telling them something really easy and then expecting them to go to something really hard out on their own and be fine.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're doing something really hard in here with me.
Yeah.
Because I know you're going to go do that on your own. So prepare them.
People sweat in here. They don't anticipate it sometimes, but yes, it's like a blurred line of physical therapy and training that I think people don't even realize.
Do you ever get clients or patients come in like non-exercise clothes for their physical therapy appointment and like you're like, surprise?
Yeah. That hasn't happened like all too frequently. I think they do their due diligence.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are in a place now where I feel like they probably expect that a little bit, but yeah.
I think our website and like our Instagram and like, Google, like it shows what we have.
Yeah.
And then they fully expect. And we also do like a discovery call. Like we screen everyone that comes through, and we definitely tell them like, yeah, be prepared to break a sweat if need be. If need be, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like for you specifically, knee, ACL, that kind of stuff is obviously like a big part of what you really like to focus on.
Yeah.
And you said runners.
Yeah.
Is that something you kind of want to continue working with and like make more of an impact on that community?
Yeah. So I did my first marathon in December, which was like, oh my God. I feel for runners. It's like one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Big time. I have never done that. So you have that on me.
But for me, like, yes, I enjoyed it. Like for sure. Like I did a few halves before I did the CIM, and it was just like that time where like you treat so many runners, you kind of get this like, hey, when are you gonna start for marathon?
Yeah, seriously.
And I definitely got like it was a healthy push. Like I was like, all right, I think it's time for me to do it. So I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was my last marathon. I did decide for CIM this year, but I wouldn't say it was my last marathon. I think I will do another marathon in my lifetime. But for me, as far as like fitness goes, and like, or are you talking about more like who do I want to train?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say one thing that I like respect a lot about you is like I mean, that is an example of you walk the walk or run the run. I guess so better way of saying that. But, there's a lot of armchair physical therapists or trainers for that matter who are, and not that you can't be a good coach if you never do the thing, because knowledge is knowledge and you can still give somebody good advice even if you haven't done the thing.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something that comes along with you've been there, you've been where these people are at, you put yourself in that position, you understand what it's like, you've gone through that experience yourself, and you're doing the very things that you're trying to help other people get better at.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
I appreciate that.
Commendable.
Yeah. Thank you. But I am a fitness junkie. Like I got into kettlebells quite a lot. I'm trying to take up golf school, and golf is like a different kind of like mind game, kind of like and as a movement nerd, I'm just like fascinated by it right now. Where how do I turn my torso and my hips and open up that range of motion and then that sequencing. So that's kind of just like my side little thing. But we might see golfers in here too that I can hopefully help.
Yes.
And our clinicians can help. So, but yeah, I think for me it's like I want to just continue to like build like our team to best serve them, because as much I love our client wins, I never take them for granted, right? I also geek out and like our providers like have their client wins. So I think it's just like, yes, I'm always going to be a clinician first, but I am getting this new lens of like, wait, I have way more impact in the community as other really badass people are doing similar things as what we're trying to build. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a specific client that I want to see more of. I love seeing just like any active person who wants to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I have like a client who does pole fitness. I know nothing about
pole fitness. Well, like pole dancing.
Like pole dancers. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Great.
Studio and like,
that's wild.
Shout out to her. She knows who she is. She came in to see me for back pain, and like, and she's still doing the thing. She's like trying harder and harder moves, and like, I know nothing about it. Like as far as like me, like actually walking.
What, you don't? That's such a.
I have not.
How do you not know?
I solely should, but what I'm saying is that like I'm a movement nerd in that sense. Like she'll like literally send me a video or like give me a podcast or give me a PDF of something that I can like dive deeper on.
Awesome.
And then we like break down the movements in here in some capacities, right? So I think it's just any like, I'm not special in any means. I think it's just that give a damn factor as a provider.
Well, unfortunately, I think that is pretty special.
I appreciate that. Yeah. But I want to instill that like same mentality in my colleagues that I work with here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think you get to this point, right, where you realize like you can only have so much impact on your own.
Yeah.
And if you actually genuinely care about having bigger impact and it's not just about you,
Yeah.
then you realize that at a certain point, like you've got to find a way to magnify your impact in some capacity. And a lot of times that is about creating a team or in any capacity, having a team around you or having other people you can rely on to help you because like you're limited.
Yeah.
And so.
And then I also think about it in the lens of the physical therapist, right? Like I've gotten lucky to where I had incremental, like, kind of that experience that I mentioned where I was like, felt like a waitress jumping, like in a more mill, we call it a PT mill setting where you kind of just like in and out and had that experience as a student PT. I've had an experience where it was a great, like, insurance-based care. It's just a little bit more limited in time that I like, but it's still kind of in a sports performance lens. And then now we have this space where we could see people one-on-one. The most that our PTs are seeing is like at most 6, maybe 7 a day. Like that's a busy day for us.
Yeah.
But it's an hour each time. So like, I think the next evolution is like trying to build a work environment that's sustainable.
Yeah.
In healthcare is like my next bigger, like, as a business owner is what I'm
Sustainable for you and the people who work here. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, sustainable for the PTs because man, if you talk to like 100 PTs and you ask them like outpatient or inpatient, it's just not just a PT problem, it's just a healthcare problem. There's a burnout culture to it when you're churning, clients. And I just don't think no one wins in that situation. The client doesn't win, patient doesn't win in that sense, and then the provider doesn't win because they probably feel strapped in like how they can provide care.
I feel like and this is something that I think a lot of people don't really fully realize is a lot of people will look at the healthcare system or physical therapy in your case, right? And be like, oh, it's broken because nobody gets good care. And it's like, but it's not so much that the physical therapist or the doctor is always like that way. It's like most of these people get into it because they really want to help people.
Absolutely.
And it's so challenging for them to not be able to help people in the way that they feel like they can because they're so strapped in this time constraint or whatever other constraints they may have.
Yeah.
Like that is a extremely challenging environment to be in when you have this desire.
Yes.
You got into this to help people and now your hands are tied behind your back and your like legs are chopped off and they're like, okay, go help somebody. It's like, this is hard.
Dude, I did not graduate from PT school thinking I was going to be a business owner. I'll just say that. Even a year out of PT school or a couple years out, I wasn't thinking about it. It literally was me being in the fire of like, man, I'm seeing 12 to 15 people a day, which doesn't seem like a lot, but 12 to 15 people a day of like of trying to like give every ounce to that person. And then and then 30 minutes and then you're documenting and like
it's exhausting.
It can be exhausting. And I was like, a few years out, like it wasn't like 10 years out, it's just a few years out. And I was like, like this doesn't also feel as sustainable. So literally it kind of came out of this just like that give a damn of like, but trying to find a way where I could see my clients and my patients longer and really like exhaust my clinical like expertise because a lot can be said with that. Like you can go to every Con Ed course you want. You can go to any whatever continuing education or certification or whatever. But like if you don't have the time to actually absorb that and like give the best advice or sound judgment to a client and verbalize that, it's really hard to actually give care.
Yeah. It's cool to kind of see you talk about like some of these more unexpected aspects of where your journey has led you that you weren't thinking about. That now, you're a business owner and now you're also thinking about how does this business thrive? How does this whole team thrive rather than how do I make it in this? How do I become the best? But it's how does this environment become the best for the people that we serve?
Yeah.
And that's really cool because it's unique and it's different than the physical therapy stuff, but it also is similar because it comes back to your give a damn thing, right? It's like you can give a damn about your patients, so you're going to give them more time and you're going to give them better instruction and whatever. But you also obviously sounds like you give a damn about the people who you work with in your team in this whole place.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's no like tiers to it. It's like we are colleagues and these are amazing therapists that I get to work with. We bounce ideas off of one another. We challenge each other. We co-treat, as far as difficult cases together.
Yeah.
And it's like, the phrase "a rising tide lifts all boats." Like I truly like, that's one of my favorite sayings because it's true. Like, I think like we all maximize our potentials when we take something out of somebody else, right? Like, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And yeah, it's just like, okay, well, having the humility to say what I'm not good at and like bouncing that off to the next person and then like just building each other up. It's only back to the conversation of like, it's the person in front of you. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is like doing right by them. So, yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's only been 3.5 years. I'm really excited where it goes in the next few more years. But I think we really started something great here. So
I could not agree more. I mean, it's very, very cool to see and very special because I think, we like to surround ourselves with like-minded people and people who are on a similar journey as us and things like that. But if we take a step back, like I do think what you guys have here is pretty unique compared to like on average what's out there. And, sometimes it's hard to see that while you're in it and you never feel good enough because you're always seeing your own flaws and you're always trying to get better and move on to the next thing and what can I do better? But, from an outside perspective looking in, like you guys are doing some pretty cool stuff.
Thank you.
And you guys do a really good job. And, we've talked a lot in the past and I know you guys
still got to do a workout at our pack.
Yeah.
Still would love to like do some sort of community event. And that's the other thing, right? Like physical therapy is like how people know about us. But like, man, we were just at a golf club or a golf range yesterday, myself and my colleague Joe, and we were like showing warm-ups to novice golfers and and just doing little like injury screens, if you will, and like just being part of their community, and we worked with Sacramento in the past, and just like that like branching effect of same thing, a rising tide lifts all boats. Like we all are kind of our client, our avatar, our person is all navigating Sacramento in different lens. And
really cool.
And like we'd like to like do more things like that in the community too.
That's cool to hear you guys are getting out into the community more, and I'm excited to see what you guys continue to do with that because I know you guys have a lot of great, awesome value to offer, and
appreciate
getting it out there into the community is always great. Which is another reason I'm stoked that you could get on this podcast, because hopefully more than just my mom will listen to this one, and I'll end here. More people will hear about these awesome people here at Lakas. By the way, what does Lakas mean again? Can you remind me?
Lakas means strength in Filipino, in Tagalog, which is strength. I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
So it's your first Filipino word that maybe you know.
Lakas.
Lakas. There you go. So
let's go.
We our motto is find strength in your story, and you can kind of, as a PT, you can think about it as like what your role is in someone's rehab. But it's really for the patient to see, like, again, back to my 15-year-old self, like, man, if I read that of like, what does that mean? I would internalize it a different way than I am now at 33, right? It's like, okay, in this time in your life, like, how can you find strength to like go about your rehab or whatever, or the next marathon that you're doing or whatever it is. So it's like, it's a phrase that I think people can just like look up and be like, well, what does that mean to me? So, yeah.
Well, I didn't know what that meant to me because I didn't know what it meant, but now I know what it means.
Yes.
And definitely means something.
I'm curious to do, Daniel, what's strength in your story? What's give me something that.
Oh, boy, the tables have turned.
Yeah. What is that? Like, off the cuff, like, what do you think of right now in your time in life? Like,
strength in my story?
Right now, yeah.
Right now? Wow. I think it's connecting with people like you.
Oh,
honestly. Because like we kind of talked about earlier, is like I only have so much capacity to give.
Yeah.
And I think that connecting with other people and creating community and connection, I think has become insanely big for me and just all of us at Power Pack.
Yeah.
And we've just seen the unimaginably compounding effect of connection and community, in that it's so much more than the sum of its parts. Whereas like I have a certain amount of capacity to give, and that's limited.
Yes.
You have a certain amount, and that's limited.
Yes.
But if we come together, it becomes more than 1 + 1. It's like 1 × 1, which is also 1, which is crazy. But that analogy went out pretty quickly. But it's like
I was following you.
1 + 1 + 1 + 1. It's like it magnifies it, right?
One with like, I don't know, infinity.
Yeah. To come back on that.
Yeah.
I was not a math major, obviously, but to come back to that, I think the idea of connecting on a meaningful, deep level with other people in your field, or just other people in general, is that magnifies your own strengths and also fills in the gaps of maybe what you're not quite that great at, is other people will be able to stand in for that, and it makes a much more whole piece, a whole version of you, and that becomes way stronger than I would be on my own. So I think that has been something I've been trying to lean into a lot more lately. So to turn the tables back on you, I have one more question to ask everybody, and it's kind of like that. But it is, what does being the energy mean to you?
Being the energy, man. I say we have very similar mottos in the same kind of like spirit of it, right? I mean, we talk about energy in here as like kinetic energy. I mean, I'm bringing it back to physical therapy. It is me training, but like, it's that, right? It's that like, be the energy is like, in my eyes, I think about the vulnerable conversations I have one-on-one on those tables with clients who are, to be honest, like coming to us at a very vulnerable state in their time. They're in pain. They're confused. They don't know, like they've navigated the system. They're still trying to find answers. And if I could I think our most powerful like tool in here is like education, and even just connection is like huge. Like, when's the last time you talked to a provider longer than 20 minutes, or even just 10 minutes without being interrupted to like hear the story that you've gone through with your back pain or said pain, whatever it is, right? So I think be the energy in our lenses looks like that, is just like be a lending ear to them. And just do the best damn job you can for the person in front of you. And if you don't know the answer, then find someone who will, right? Get that referral, build that connection, and just do right by them.
That's amazing.
So,
well, Lakas, strength, find strength in your story. And I know there's a lot of people listening to this that will be able to find strength in your story.
I appreciate
because it's pretty awesome. And then hopefully they can be inspired to find strength in their own story and pull things from that to continue to be better and make everyone around them better.
So thank you for having me. You've set a thought into action, like what you're doing. So just appreciated the time. And this was like just amazing conversation.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you, Kim.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.